Just a real quick note, I will be writing something up here. I like to use this section as kind of like a summation of the week. And so you'll see me write that out a little bit later. So, as I mentioned before, this month layout is different. So I was able to fit more than like I normally would, I guess, in these sections than for some reason. So, because usually in my old layout, this important section would cover both of these. So I had way more space. So I need to be mindful of that. But it's also good, I guess, in some ways. We'll see. But basically, I added all those things here in the task section, which this is really for like fixed and variable bills. So that's a little bit different than I normally do, but it's okay. We're gonna make it work. So here are the bills that I have. And now we're gonna move on with putting some dollar amounts on things. Now, my rollover amount, I'm just gonna make a note of that here, was $16.11.22, and I'm just gonna write this next section out for when I close out this budget. I'm actually gonna differentiate these things here because that does make a difference. Okay, so bills, spending, saving, debt, payment equals balance for rollover, right? So what I'll get to this section in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and write starting balance here. And we'll talk about this in a moment. All right, so let's go ahead and put some dollar amounts here, and then we'll move on to our balance section. So for my node, we have that as 2. I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse adding these dollar amounts, and I'll meet you back in the balances. I put some things here that actually don't happen during this pay period. So let's see which ones don't happen during this pay period. So basically all these things out here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take off these things. Just getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna get better at this. Don't worry. Okay, so I know that might look fugly, but we're gonna make it work. So I actually don't need to budget for this. I just put that on my looking ahead for the others, and I didn't budget for this. Did I budget for that? So we're good. Great. So let me just see if I can change this. That's looking hideous. Yeah, it'll do. All right, so perfect. So we'll go from there. I may change it, but I think we're good. So for softball, I've actually pretty much already paid for the softball gear. I'm kind of joining you all after March has already started. So I'm just gonna mark that out as well. And I'll try to be more on my A game. Doing the monthly layout kind of threw me off for this week. So for baseball, I budgeted $200 for gear. And I paid more than this for the softball gear, so I'm really hoping I can get the baseball gear to be around $200 somehow, some way. And the cousin amount will be $100, and tires, which I don't know if that will be happening this particular moment or not, but we're gonna do that amount for that. Let's see what else. I do want to get the wardrobe stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna wait a little bit on that. I need to make a note that this includes shoes from her daughter. She needs some school shoes. So I'll just make a note of that somewhere. But back to this. Basically, I can fit these things over here now. Yay. So let me put this over here just so I'm not losing it. This is originally where I wanted it. And then boys club dues, which I budgeted 40, but I don't actually know what it is. So I'm hoping that it's 40. That's my hope. I'm also hoping we can get these tires done during this pay period because I'm traveling in the next pay period. So I really want to get those things done now for that. Now, like I said, for looking ahead, I don't really have much planned for looking ahead except for maybe tires. But I'm gonna keep that there. So that's fine. Tires. Okay, so like I said, just to recap, this section tasks is for fixed variable bills. This important tab is for whatever items were on the dashboard in these two sections. And then this looking ahead correlates with this section here, which is for whatever is happening beyond the pay period. Just to kind of explore living beyond paycheck to paycheck. So this section down here, I kind of use to keep track of my balances. So in my emergency fund, I have this amount. So obviously I would like to get this up, but this is what it's at right now. And as I said before, I actually plan on using this for that HVAC bill. So not ideal at all, but hopefully this accountability will help me with that. Then I also have like just a regular savings account that we just use for kind of like holding money, I guess you could say, but this is 0 right now. So again, not ideal. And then my only real debt at the moment is this personal loan, which is at this amount right now for its balance. So I would really like to get this down as much as possible. And I really need to get the spending under control. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to tally up these things, and well, not these things because I'm not making any payments or putting any deposits in these accounts. So more so focusing on this, and that will tell me what we need for our envelopes section. So I call this my envelope section, but really it's just for whatever I need for food and anything else throughout the week. And I just like calling it envelopes. I just like to. So I'm gonna go ahead and write out here. What am I gonna write here? I don't know why I do it this way, but I do, and I'm fine with it. So I do rollover for next week's envelopes, and then I do this week's envelopes. So once I tally all that stuff up, I'll be right back. So I'm just using my watch here as a calculator. So I've already tallied up these bills here. That total was $531.87. So now I'm going to tally up these important expenses here. All right, so that's $785. And now I'm just going to take that rollover amount, take away these two amounts, and since we have no deposits or payments going here, that will help me figure out what to put here. So that leaves me with $294.35, which is not a lot, not very realistic at all for me, but we'll see what happens. If I fail, I will certainly be talking about it here. So as you can see, this is what I'm left with, and it doesn't really feel like a realistic amount. I can tell you, I think I've already spent that money so far. So this is why I'm starting this channel, to hold me accountable, to get my spending under control. I really feel like holding myself accountable here in this space will be helpful in some way. And so basically I'm just going to put that available balance over here. $147.17. So I realized that I paid for cousin last week, like I already said. So I whited that out, which means that this is only $685. Which means that $394.35, which sounds a lot better, a lot more doable. So I'm gonna divide that by 2. Oh no, not plus, divide. That's 197.17, which I like. So that's the starting balance for next week. See you there. Subscribe, like the channel, like the video, do all those things if you were interested. I know this first video was a little rocky, but I'm gonna allow myself that. I really appreciate you being here for the journey, and let's see where we're going. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you're having a great day. Bye.